Success! Oh, hi. Glad you're here. I'm glad to be with you. It's time to talk about 1986. I was 3 years old. Didn't get to the movies much, not to my recollection. But there are some I would like to mention, of course, ending with the most influential, impactful film of that year, to my life. So, a couple quick things actually. In December of that year, The Three Amigos came out. You know, great classic comedy. I just remember it was a go-to borrow or rental by both my brothers and I growing up. We absolutely loved that movie. It's one of the first movies I remember us quoting and memorizing lines from and this and that. Very exciting, entertaining film. Classic film. If you haven't seen The Three Amigos, starring Martin Short, Chevy Chase, and Steve Martin, I highly recommend it. Highly. One of the greatest comedies of all time. Then you've got in May of that year, a little film came out called Short Circuit, starring a little robot, little robot named Johnny Number Five. Johnny Five alive. Classic. You know what we need? We need a movie starring Johnny Five and Jinx from Space Camp. Those two would be great together, like a buddy cop movie with those two. That'd be great. Ooh, you could even throw in Cheese from Mac and Cheese, the fictional television show that Joey was in on Friends. Y'all probably get that reference a heck of a lot sooner than you'll get any Short Circuit or Space Camp reference. Anyway, Short Circuit, great movie. It had the one guy who made Johnny Five, who then much later, appeared in Lost. Just saying. And Space Camp had Locke from Lost. You see, it's all connected. It's all connected. At least in my life. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Either there's a God or it's me. Anywho, that's something far more philosophical that we don't want to get into right now. But Short Circuit, great movie. Johnny Number Five. Johnny Five alive. Good time. Look it up. Short Circuit. It ended up getting a sequel, so it must be good. Also, there's a movie called... It came out in June, so just a couple weeks after I was born. A couple weeks after my birthday, where I turned 3. A little movie called Labyrinth came out. Fantastic, wonderful, classic film. Their follow-up to The Dark Crystal, not in the same universe, but with the puppetry. Of course, Labyrinth has human characters, as I discussed in my other video. Dark Crystal does not. But Labyrinth is a classic film that most people have heard of, if not seen. Just great characters, great songs. David Bowie, rest in peace. Fantastic film. But the most significant thing about Labyrinth, of it not only being one of my favorites growing up, as a very young child in elementary school, it would be my go-to movie to show people. Like if I made a new friend, we gotta watch Labyrinth, dude! You've never seen Labyrinth? We gotta watch Labyrinth, dude! Even though the guys who take their heads off were kind of creepy to me, but anyway. But also, even more importantly, still a huge fan of to this day. It was the only tolerable part of Top Gun Maverick. The only thing worth seeing that on the big screen was getting to see her face on the big screen. Anyway, Labyrinth introduced me to Jennifer Connelly, who I became a very big fan of throughout the entirety of my life, from the age of 3 to the age of 40, because Jennifer Connelly is amazing and beautiful and every single movie she's done for the last 40 years, she's been absolutely gorgeous and wonderful and amazing, and I love her. I love Jennifer Connelly. Requiem for a Dream's a tough watch, but still love her. Top Gun Maverick is a crap movie, but at least she's in it. Don't get me started. Anywho, so Labyrinth. Great, very impactful film. In April of that year, a movie was released called Legend. No hidden temples, not plural. Legend. With Tim Curry, rest in peace, as the devil, Satan himself. Painted red, big prosthetic chin, huge freaking horns. If you ain't ever heard of Legend or you ain't ever seen Legend, you need to get on it because it's got a little prancy, feminine, fairy-esque Tom Cruise in the starting role. Oh, and that one lovely young lady from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which also came out this year, even though I wasn't going to mention it, but I just did. Great film. But the lovely, pretty young lady from Ferris Bueller's Day Off is the lovely young lady in Legend. I believe it has something to do with The Last Unicorn. Different movie. But yeah, it's got Tom Cruise with long hair before that was a weird thing, because he was still young and Tom Cruise. Anyway, it's a great film. But the biggest impact that film had on me was when I was married early on, living together, my wife and I. We were watching the movie Legend, and we had this crazy neighbor. Not like crazy, but like crazy. Not like literally, but you know, like they reacted. They overreacted to things in a crazy way. So we had this neighbor that shared her bedroom wall with our bedroom wall, I believe. And the bedroom was where we would watch most of our movies together. And one night we were watching Legend. And it wasn't even that loud. It was just on. But next thing we know, in the middle of the movie, boom, 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 boom. Knock at the front door. I'm like, what the heck? I look through the peephole. It's the police! Open the door. What's going on? This wasn't even one of the instances the cops were called for a domestic disturbance. Because my marriage was very violent. She was the violent one. Sometimes men are the ones that are abused. Anywho, that's neither here nor there. We'll get there on one of my Journey to 40 videos, whatever the heck I called them. Those are coming up more once a month. Don't watch those. They're not for you. Trust me. But anywho, the cops are like, oh, we're here for a disturbance. What's going on? Nothing? What do you mean nothing? We're just watching a movie. What do you mean you're just watching a movie? We're just watching a movie. Is this right, ma'am? Everything all right? Yeah. What's your problem? Oh, what movie you watching? Legend. Your neighbor complained that it was too loud. All right, we'll turn it down. Then, so they were just like, yeah, let us off with a warning, I guess, even though we weren't doing anything. But then the next day, there was like a rose in front of our door and a note from said neighbor. Sorry about that. She felt bad for calling the cops for us being too loud when she realized that we were just watching a movie. I don't know what was going on in that movie where she thought maybe we were fighting or something. But if you think your neighbor's being too loud, or if you have a problem with anyone, take it to them. Let them, oh, hey neighbor, you're being a little loud. Leave them a note. Knock on their door. Could you keep it down? If that doesn't work, then maybe take it up a notch to the property owners. If that doesn't work, then maybe take it up a notch. Don't go straight to calling the police. Bang on our wall and we'll turn it down. Like I said, crazy lady. If you're jumping to these conclusions and solutions, you're crazy. Anywho, so Legend, good time, good story. Good evening. The last movie I want to mention before we get to the movie that has the biggest impact on my life from that year is another movie that comes pretty close, but since it didn't get an official theatrical release, not here in the US, and it didn't get an actual US release, I think it was a made-for-TV movie. But I had vivid memories of this movie growing up. But like later in life, like in my 20s and 30s, I was like, there's this movie I remember as a kid that can't possibly be real. Because I remembered something about peanut butter and something about a kid seeing a painting that scared him so bad his hair fell out, and something about another kid putting peanut butter on his groin and his pubic hair growing out of the bottom of his pants. Doesn't that sound like the ramblings of a madman? That's what I thought. Till I gave those specific descriptions to someone who at the time was like burning movies for me. Like, I can find anything you could possibly want. And I'm like, yeah, right. Find things like Candy or A Boy and His Dog. She did. And I mentioned this movie. There's still one other movie from my childhood that I barely remember that I still haven't been able to figure out what it is. If you know, let me know. It had something to do with kids going into the knot of a tree and then into a magical world. I don't remember if it was live action or animated, or perhaps it was live action and then they went into the knot of the tree, into this world, and then it was animated. I don't know. It must have been from the 80s. That's all I got. If that rings any bells, comment below. But the movie I'm referring to does indeed exist, and it's called The Peanut Butter Solution, which is easier to find now, today and age, but wasn't so easy 10 years ago, or especially 20. It was made for TV in Canada. It's now available on like Amazon, I think, last I checked. So you can find it. But it is a crazy movie, because yes, it's about a kid. It's about a guy who has magic paintbrushes that can bring his paintings to life, kind of. And this kid sees one of the paintings, goes in the painting. Something in the painting scares him so bad that his hair falls out, and his hair won't grow back, so he wants to come up with any solution to get his hair to grow back. And then it turns out that the thing that scared him in the painting was a ghost, but then the ghost comes back to him and says, I can help you grow your hair back, you just have to make this peanut butter solution. Get it? Double entendre. Solution. Yeah. But don't use too much peanut butter, the main ingredient, or it'll work too well. Sure enough, hence the kid, because the friend gets the idea, because they're like middle school age, and he's trying to rush puberty. Trust me, you don't want to do that. So he uses too much, and there is a shot where he's in class in school, and there's hair coming out the bottom of his pants. See, all of it, when she was like, I found it, it's right here, and gave me a copy of it, blew my freaking mind when I saw this movie again in my 20s, I think. So, yeah, it's an insane movie. So the kid uses too much peanut butter and his hair won't stop growing. It's growing way too fast. No matter how much they cut it, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And then he gets kidnapped. And then there was a part where he leaves a trail from the truck. And then the other kids on the bike are able to find that. That was another one of my fleeting memories that I had of this. And then it turns out that the guy who makes the paintings kidnaps kids because he uses children's hair for his paintbrushes, which is how he makes his magic paint. Yeah, this is a movie for kids, made in Canada. However, I believe it's based on a book, so don't blame us Canadians, although we are weird. But yeah, that's a movie. If you can find it, have some fun. Have a few drinks, a few friends, a few laughs. Watch The Peanut Butter Solution. Okay, so last but not least, the most influential film that came out in 1986 that had an impact on my life is Aliens, the James Cameron sequel. Alien, I could tell you other stories about that one. How when my brothers, we loved the first Alien, and we finally, when we moved into my parents' current house that they're currently selling. But the first day there, we were playing tag, and then I was up, the glass door. All of a sudden, there was a spider, but it was kind of like a face hugger right there. But anyway, that night they were airing Alien on TV. We'd never seen it, so we recorded it on TV. And then later, when we came back from something, we were able to watch Alien. But the tape ran out. But then we came to discover that the tape ran out right at the end of the movie, which is fantastic. So she gets to the part where, spoiler alert for Alien, from 1979 gets to the part where she escapes the Nostromo and blows it up, and she's like, I got you. You son of a bitch, I got you. And then it goes to commercial, and the tape ran out, and we're like, oh, sweet. So we barely got the end of the movie. Years later, we come to discover that wasn't the end of the movie, and there's a whole other sequence on that shuttle that she escaped on, and the alien's actually on there too, and she's got to blow it out the GD airlock. A line from Aliens. So that was an impactful film, but since I wasn't alive, it's not being mentioned here, although I just did. This movie, Aliens, definitely one of the most one of the most quoted movies still to this day. I quote that movie all the time, whether it's Hudson, whether it's Hicks, whether it's Ripley, whether it's Bishop, who I met. My son and I got to meet Lance Hendrickson. Thank you very much. Anywho, Bill Paxton, rest in peace. Fantastic film, top to bottom. The music, the action, the dialogue, the characters, like some of the most quotable quotes in that movie. My goodness. Paul Reiser, for goodness sake. That's why I love that they brought him back in an 80s theme of Stranger Things, and then you're like, oh, he's going to be the jerkwad from Aliens, but then he's not. He's kind of a cool guy. Anywho, Aliens had a huge impact on my life, as well as I didn't realize at the time that I would be talking about this movie in more thorough detail. I mentioned in the 84 video that there was 2 scenes from 2 movies where I had to leave the room. The first one was Ghostbusters, when the arms come out of the chair on Sigourney Weaver. Had to leave the room, couldn't do it. Terrifying. And then the second one was Aliens, with Sigourney Weaver watching in horror on the monitor as they finally find the colony people, and the one lady's alive, and she's like, please kill me, please kill me. Chestburster. Like, the chestburster scene in the original Alien is intense and all. Great, masterfully crafted sequence, but it never, like, scared me. It was more just like, sucks to be that guy. But in Aliens, honestly, I think that's probably the best chestburster scene there is. Well, as far as creepy and scary. We're dark. We're in an unknown location. We're surrounded by these dead people, and some of them might be alive. There's aliens anywhere at any given moment. We just don't know yet. And then this woman wakes up, and we're like, oh, yay, she's alive. We can help her. And it's immediately like, kill me. And you're like, whoa, it's okay, lady. Everything's going to be fine. And then it's blah, blah, blah. And her acting is phenomenal. It's terrifying. And then you cut to Sigourney, who's having flashbacks from what happened to her on the Nostromo. And it's like, oh my gosh, plus she had the nightmare at the beginning of the film. It's just a horrific sequence that I had to leave the room for when I was a kid. Like, I loved the movie, but I was like, nah, I ain't watching that. Chestburster busting out of that lady. Oh, and then they have to immediately flamethrower traumatic. But overall, a great film. The Alien saga was my first ever obsession as far as movies and a specific what's the word I'm looking for? A specific this is dead air. Brand. A specific brand. Alien was my first obsession from a very young age, due to Alien 3, which we'll talk about later. But that's how we discovered Alien. And then Aliens, of course, it's just such an awesome kick-butt movie, filled with such compelling, rich characters, which James Cameron seems to be good at for the most part. He does have a couple of movies that I don't like, that ironically enough I'm building a Lego set of right now. Anywho, yeah, Aliens, phenomenal film. Great actors, great characters. I would, again, another scenario where we would just sit here for another 30 minutes while I gave examples of lines from that movie I would quote on a regular basis. I guess you don't like the cornbread either. But I digress. If it's a line in Aliens, I probably quote it on a regular basis. Again, they're going through my head right now, and I won't even. So yeah, that was the most impactful. Aliens was my first ever obsession for a particular piece of media before Star Wars, before X-Files, before I mean, X-Men I'd say about around the same time, but X-Men didn't have any films or such yet. There was just a cartoon show and comic books. But as far as the first film series I obsessed over and appreciated and loved every second of, it was Alien. And at the time that I became obsessed with it, it was a trilogy. And the perfect trilogy at that. Although I have zero complaints of the following films, which we'll discuss later. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Although it's quite a story about Alien Resurrection and how I saw that, and it's quite a story about Alien 3 and how I saw that and how it started my obsession with it. But we'll get there in another video because this one's already too long. So thanks for stopping by. Good times. Aliens, the most influential, life-impacting film of 1986 for me. Okie dokie.